Hello friends, this is the third part of the series of the tumors of the hepatobiliary tract. So myself Dr. Amita, professor in pathology, today will be dealing with tumors of the biliary tract. So at the outset, I would like you all to identify who this personality is, the famous person is, and who is this personality again. Okay, any guesses? So keep on tickling your brains and we'll see at the end who these personalities are. So I've set up the specific learning objectives. So as per this, at the end of this session, you as a learner should be able to list the tumors of the biliary tract, describe the etiology and morphology of cholangiocarcinoma, describe the etiology and morphology of carcinoma of gallbladder. So tumors of biliary tract, benign tumors, they can occur like bile duct adenoma and all. They are very rare and we are not going to deal with it now. Malignant tumors of the biliary tract include the important ones. I am including it over here. They are the cholangiocarcinoma and the gallbladder adenocarcinoma. Cholangiocarcinoma is a tumor which arises from bile duct epithelium, whereas gallbladder adenocarcinoma is a malignant tumor which is arising in the gallbladder. Coming to cholangiocarcinoma, as the name suggests, the word cholangio stands for bile duct epithelium. So it is a malignant tumor arising from bile duct epithelium. As you all know, bile duct epithelium can be present inside the liver in the form of bile canaliculi or the small bile ducts which are present in the portal triad, or that is the intrahepatic biliary system, or it may be the extrahepatic biliary tract which includes the bile ducts, okay, hepatic ducts, right and left hepatic ducts, the common bile duct, okay. So that is the extrahepatic biliary duct. So you know that there is an intrahepatic cholangiocarcinoma which arises from the bile duct epithelium which is present in the liver, whereas there is a cholangiocarcinoma which arises from the extrahepatic biliary system, okay. When we see the incidence, extrahepatic cholangiocarcinoma is far more common as compared to intrahepatic cholangiocarcinoma. Coming to the etiology of cholangiocarcinoma, as you have seen in hepatocellular carcinoma, any chronic inflammatory disease which causes continuous irritation of the biliary tract in turn can give rise to somatic or epigenetic mutations in the epithelium, transferring the cell into a malignant cell, which may give rise to the malignancy. Then there are certain parasites, okay, parasitic infestation in the form of Opisthochus, okay, and Clonorchis, along with Fasciola hepatica. These are the flukes which are also called as liver flukes, which are implicated in causing cholangiocarcinoma. Remember, those countries where these infestations are endemic, the incidence of cholangiocarcinoma is quite high. So you have Opisthochus viverrini, Clonorchis sinensis and Fasciola hepatica. It is difficult to pronounce, right? But you need to remember that. Then, as I told you, chronic inflammatory conditions like of the biliary duct epithelium, like primary sclerosing cholangitis, okay, can give rise to cholangiocarcinoma in a long run. Then lithiasis, stone, okay, fibropolycystic liver disease which may involve the biliary epithelium can give rise to cholangiocarcinoma. So now can you identify this famous personality? Okay, jokes apart, this is a liver fluke which is implicated in causing cholangiocarcinoma. So cholangiocarcinomas, as we saw now, It can be either intrahepatic or extrahepatic, and extrahepatic are far more common as compared to intrahepatic ones. The extrahepatic ones, the typicality is that they these forms they include perihilar tumors which are called as Klatskin's tumors. These Klatskin's tumors are very small 1 to 2 centimeter round tumors which are nothing but cholangiocarcinomas which are located at the junction of the right and the left hepatic ducts. Why this name Klatskin is, it was Gerald Klatskin who in the early part of the 19th century identified some 12 to 16 patients with the tumor which is occurring in the right and the left hepatic ducts in the junction which was occurring in the junction of right and left hepatic ducts. All of them had a similar morphology and those were all cholangiocarcinomas, and this tumor was which occurs at the junction of right and left hepatic duct was named after that scientist who discovered that the the intrahepatic cholangiocarcinomas usually are large tumors occurring in the liver which are grayish white and hard in consistency. Okay, and most of them, since they are arising from the bile duct epithelium, they are adenocarcinomas. So we saw cholangiocarcinoma, the etiology, gross and microscopy. Coming to gallbladder carcinoma, this is the another malignant tumor involving the biliary tract. Gallbladder carcinoma is common in women, akin or similar to the cholecystitis or the cholelithiasis, that is the inflammation, chronic inflammation of the gallbladder or the stones in the gallbladder. They are more common in women. You try to remember the 4 F's which will be taught to you uh, later in cholelithiasis or cholecystitis. Usually cholelithiasis or cholecystitis is very common in fat female of 40s who are fertile. So you have to remember 4 F's, that is fertile, female, fat and 40s. These are the 4 F's in whom cholelithiasis or cholecystitis is common. Similarly, gallbladder carcinoma is also common in this age group and in this scenario, though the age group is little more older age group. Gallbladder carcinoma is more common in older age group as compared to the cholecystitis which occurs in a younger age group comparatively. Most of them, the problem with this gallbladder carcinoma is most of them are asymptomatic or they are detected when the patient is diagnosed with cholecystitis or cholelithiasis. In our case, recently we had seen a case where the female, she was obviously fat and fertile and she was in her 40s and she came with the pain in the right hypochondriac region and ultrasound revealed multiple stones in the gallbladder. Nothing else was detected on ultrasound and the patient underwent cholecystectomy and the specimen came to us, and when we did the grossing we could not find anything except the stones, and on microscopy there was a carcinoma. Okay, so there was a carcinoma and which was already infiltrating into the surrounding serosa. It was involving the surrounding serosa. That means these patients are usually diagnosed in a very late stage of the disease. They are okay, and that is why they will usually have a very bad prognosis. Most of them will present with jaundice, anorexia, weight loss. Most of them will be asymptomatic or they will be detected when they are operated for some other reason like cholecystitis or cholelithiasis. But at times they may present with classical features of jaundice, anorexia, weight loss and abdominal pain. As I told you, right hypochondriac pain these patients may with. So etiology, what is the etiology of this gallbladder carcinomas? 90 to 95% of the cases will have an associated cholelithiasis or cholecystitis. That means the patient will be having gallbladder stones and there will be chronic inflammatory activity which will be going on in the gallbladder, which in a long run may give rise to a malignant transformation. Then there are certain chemical carcinogens, like the chemicals to which the workers in the rubber industry are exposed to may give rise to gallbladder carcinoma. And there are certain genetic factors which we are not going into detail right now. Coming to the morphology, on gross examination, the most common site where this gallbladder carcinoma can be present is usually the fundus. Okay, so here we can see that in this is the cut surface of a gallbladder which you are seeing on the right side image, and there is a cauliflower like mass which is protruding into the lumen. Okay, and you can see that it is located in the fundus region. So on gross, it can be of two types. One is the fungating mass and the another is the infiltrating mass. Fungating means it will be present like a mass, polypodal mass, which will protrude into the lumen. Whereas infiltrating means it will just show the thickening of the wall of the gallbladder, which you can see on the right side of the image. You can see the two arrows, the two small arrows over there. There is thickening of the wall of the gallbladder, which can be easily missed out, and that was similar to the case which we saw. Infiltrating type. And microscopy, you can easily analyze that since the gallbladder is made it is a glandular structure, the microscopic type of malignancy is an adenocarcinoma, but rarely you can get a squamous cell carcinoma in the gallbladder as well. So at the end, now I think you will be able to identify these two famous personalities. The left one is the Sir Gerald Klatskin, who discovered this Klatskin, who reported for the first time the Klatskin's tumor, and the liver fluke, which is implicated in causing cholangiocarcinoma. So to summarize, we saw the tumors of biliary tract today, the cholangiocarcinomas, which can be intrahepatic or extrahepatic. Wherever they are, usually they will have a very bad prognosis. And microscopically, they are always adenocarcinomas. Etiology cholangiocarcinoma, it is important for you to remember about the liver flukes. Okay. And coming to gallbladder carcinoma, it is common in females who are fat, who are fertile, and it is usually associated with cholelithiasis. Okay. And the gross, it is of two types, the fungating type and the infiltrating type. And on microscopy, most of the time it is an adenocarcinoma. Thank you.